We've got Season 5 of Deep Rock Galactic, Star Wars Acolyte, new hardware announcements, some new hardware rumors, and every game festival or showcase ever coming this weekend.
Nick here asking you, it's 1 a.m. Do you know where your Ewoks are?
Hi, I'm Josh, and finally someone dies in Star Wars by not being ran through with a lightsaber.
I'm Andy. Welcome to Video Game Tango.
Oh,
Hey!
hello.
Ooh, welcome back, everybody, to Video Game Tango.
I really need to stop doing that.
Hold your breath.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a whole week.
Yeah, that's not a good idea, man. But
I saw God.
that's talent. If you saw
one?
God, tell him to make us better video games. For
Juju
cheaper.
up the mountain. Oh. Yeah. Hello, everybody. We got a few things to talk about. Not a lot, because it's the week of dryness.
And we will get into why it's so dry. It's partially the warmer weather. That's not true.
Mostly the potassium levels.
Yeah. Most of what's in the game news regions of the universe is the PlayStation State of Play happened last week. So I broadcast that live with a few people, a few lovely people in chat. Thank you for being there. Appreciate you. But yeah, weirdly, so not only did I watch the PlayStation State of Play, I also watched some other streamers react to the PlayStation State of Play, and like a bunch of their chats were very, very excited about the games coming after the announcements of State of Play, and a lot of the streamers also were too. And to be honest, I didn't quite get the hype. So what played first was a game called Concord. It's another arena shooter. It is 5v5 character-driven first-person multiplayer shooter. It's an Overwatch clone. And we watched, all three of us watched the gameplay and cinematic trailers just before we started the podcast. And I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it, because I definitely have some thoughts, and I think you know how I lean. But what are your thoughts on the Concord gameplay?
So, from the gameplay right away, it looks very similar to Overwatch. So like that's fine. That's fun. It doesn't need to reinvent the wheel here for it to be good. Honestly, the gameplay for me, like the gameplay matters, obviously. The gameplay matters. But what's really going to matter is what kind of model that they're going to be running when it drops. Because Overwatch was the only game I liked to play for like over a year. I met a lot of really cool people playing. I've talked about it before on the cast. It was fantastic. And I mean, I complained about the loot box system. Now I would play Overwatch 2 if it had the loot box system. Right now, like everything that I hear from it, from not getting characters when it's really, like I said, it's going to depend on the model. The gameplay looked fine. It looked like Overwatch.
Yeah.
Honestly, some of the voice acting kind of sounded like Overwatch, and the characters were like, "Oh, that's 592 Reinhardt instead of 616 Reinhardt, right? Like, oh, there's a Universe 1 Bastion instead of this one, you know? Like if like honestly, like Blizzard called their lawyers when they watched when they watched that. Like
But listen, dude, it's 5v5 and not 4v4.
yeah, so I mean that's at least something.
Yeah.
I like arena shooters. I like the core fundamentals of the ideas, some kind of balance between a traditional FPS and a MOBA, right?
Yeah.
The question you have to ask yourself as a player is, what does one arena shooter have over another, like the fundamental gameplay loop, right? Overwatch had a lot of really good things going for it. And then, you know, there's some MOBAs that lean more into arena shooters. Some arena shooters are closer to FPS games, like Valorant close to Counter-Strike, right?
Yeah.
So you can sit there and ask yourself all day long, like, what is Concord going to have from a player's perspective that any arena shooter out there doesn't already have? Like, why switch what you're currently playing to this? But the old sassy man in me thinks not what is good for players, but what is good about an arena shooter for a company. the ease and potential for selling microtransactions.
Yeah.
Right? You have dozens of characters, all with their own weapons. They can have weapon charms and skins and different season skins, constant rotating maps, all these things. It is just ripe for exploitation when it comes to DLCs. So I don't know anything about Concord other than what we watched, the trailer and the gameplay, which the gameplay is curated gameplay, right? You don't get to see the HUD. You don't get to see the game types or what your objectives are. It was just no HUD combat. So they showed us an arena shooter. Cool. Like, it's hard to have an opinion on something when you're showing me what looks like someone took Overwatch and then said, like, what if we slapped what's the Marvel universe?
Multiverse.
No,
Oh.
the
Marvel Rivals.
no, with the raccoon and the
Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah, it just felt like
Yeah.
a Guardians of the Galaxy skin
Yeah,
on Overwatch,
yeah.
right? Just fine. Again, this is all like fine, but like until we see how the game plan is going to be laid out, how they're going to do their DLC and their microtransactions, if any DLC, it'll probably just be season passes. I just have to ask myself, like, what is it that people enjoy about arena shooters? Like, why play one over the other? Other than the normal reason is you happen to start playing one first, or your friends play it, right? Apex already kind of has if there's a balance between just shooting people, Counter-Strike, and a whole bunch of gimmicks, right? Like, Apex is closer to Counter-Strike. You have powers and whatnot,
Yeah.
but there's never any crazy modifiers on the map where, like, 1 minute there's low gravity and the next minute everyone has a clone of themselves, or the map is a giant roller coaster in space. It's just you're there to shoot people. And then you get closer to stuff like Overwatch and they have a little bit more. There's like cars that can run you over, a little bit of environmental stuff. But then you can get more into like gameplay styles, as opposed to just killing the enemy team or playing King of the Hill. You can do some neat stuff. I think for all its faults, like Siege has an interesting take on planting the bomb, right? But I don't know if Concord's going to do any of that. I don't know. Like, there might be more information out right now, but we don't really know from what we've seen. It looks like another arena shooter. It's up in the air. I don't have any opinions on it yet.
Yeah, I mean the only so this is early, right? This is Reddit. So I'm on the company page, and I'm not getting anything as far as like microtransactions and stuff like that, whether there'll be a
they won't
subscription or
announce
anything like that.
until it's out.
So the PlayStation Australia store page, apparently before being updated, and this is only as of 8 hours ago, but apparently it's been updated because the link there does not include this. But it says that it stated the following, is that it was going to be $40 or $60. That's AUD, not US. So in the US, that's $59.95 or $94.95. So standard edition is $60. The digital deluxe version is $95. The game is launching with 6 PvP game modes, mixture of objective and respawn based. The heroes can unlock unique modifiers to change their gameplay, daily and weekly challenges to unlock items for heroes, and post-launch heroes, game modes, maps and worlds, and weekly cinematic vignettes will be free of cost.
I hope so. If you're paying full price for a video game, there better not be on top of that a battle pass that you also have to pay for.
Yeah.
And see, that's where Overwatch 2 lost me. I would have been willing if they're like, hey, because of the hundreds of hours that I had in on specific characters, they're like, hey, we're going to a new Overwatch 2. It's happening. I know you're going to be bummed about it, but you're an OG player. You're a legacy player. So we're going to charge you half price. I would have to have like the loot box system that I hated so much. I would have gladly paid half price to play what amounted to the same game. I would have bought it again, but no problem. Fine, cool. So I'm willing to pay $60. I'm willing to pay full price for if they're going to deliver me old school Overwatch. Fuck it. I'll plunk down the 60.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby, all day.
Of all companies, Hi-Rez, who owns Smite, they're coming out with Smite 2, went so far as to say, hey, we're currently doing our best to remake every skin we have in Smite 1 and Smite 2. Each skin takes like almost a month, and we have over 1,000 skins. It's going to be years before they're all out, but we're going to do it. And on top of that, every gem, which is the in-game currency that you bought in Smite 1, we're going to give you half the money you paid back to use in Smite 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different game than the first one, yet they're still giving you half the money you spent on something that you already spent and enjoyed for years now, hundreds if not thousands of hours of gameplay. But they're also taking the time to remake all these skins. Like, of course, Activision's not going to do that. Blizzard's not going to do that, right? But even Hi-Rez is up there with like some other companies for some janky choices, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to shit on Concord, but like,
I don't
my
either.
experience tells me it's going to be another attempt at making their own little unique Sony walled garden. Like, they don't have their arena shooter, and why not make one?
Didn't we see it came out on Steam and Epic as well?
Yeah, but it's a Sony.
It's a
I don't know
Sony.
who's developing it.
Yeah, I
but
don't
it's
remember.
Published by Sony Concord.
Well, I mean, if it's coming out on those platforms, then I mean, it's not necessarily a walled garden. You probably have to have a fucking
You'll definitely have to have a
PSN.
PSN account.
Yeah, but
Yeah, no doubt about that.
yeah.
That said, you know,
Honestly, if the trade, I mean, I know that like some gamers don't have access to PSN. Like, if you're gonna make PSN a requirement and put your games on, then like get it to the fucking people. Then, otherwise, just give goodies. Just give goodies for signing up with PSN. Because I understand it's like, hey, if I don't already have a PSN, I will make one to play God of War, hands down. Gonna do it. And if that's like a requirement, that honestly kind of sucks for people who have been waiting to play this game and will happily buy it, but you won't let them because of internet bureaucracy. What the fuck? Oh my God. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Anyway.
so let's keep going on with the state of play. I want to blast through this.
There's a little
real
more
quick.
to get through. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Concord. I guess I haven't given my thoughts on it in particular. Real quick. Yeah, I wasn't super blown away by the gameplay. It looks like an Overwatch clone. It seems fine. The cinematic, I didn't care about. I mean, I'm sorry. That was like not. That was kind of an
Caney Valley and bad dialogue.
Yeah, it was really. It felt. Yeah, I didn't like it. I have to be honest. You remember the first Overwatch trailer where they were trying to get Doomfist Gauntlet, or Fist, in the museum, dude. That
That was
thing,
a much better trailer than
dude,
this one.
that thing brought a fucking tear to my eye.
Yeah.
Like, that had everybody on the edge of their seats to see what Overwatch was going to be.
Or the vignettes that they released.
oh
with
my god, the Bastion one! I can't watch that one without crying. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Just didn't do a whole lot for me. I hope it does. I hope it does good things. Like,
Yeah, again, like the point is, we don't want things to fail.
Yeah.
But we also,
unless they're bad.
unless they're
We don't want things to be bad.
Yeah, we don't want things to be bad. That's never the case, right? Like, we don't want things to be bad. But if you're, I mean, from that description, from the page that got updated and that information got taken off, if they follow that model, that will be a successful model. Overwatch was a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Following that model, like lots of people played. I watched esports Overwatch. Like, that's how much I liked Overwatch.
Well, I don't know. This seems like it may be even better than the first Overwatch model, because they're not talking about like any microtransactions here.
Oh, they'll be in there. Don't worry.
I'm sure they will be.
Yeah,
But
maybe not at launch, but I don't think there's a way that they can continue constant development to this game without something to substitute development time.
And that's the thing. That's understandable. I get that. But if the point is, I mean, make it somewhat earnable, because like I said, I spent days of my life playing Junkrat's Revenge on Junkenstein's Revenge for seasonal play, just to try to get skins, because I wasn't spending money. I mean, I bought the game, but I wasn't spending any money on the stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, anyways, moving on. God of War Ragnarok was announced for
Yeah.
PC. It is coming to PC, so that is super exciting. Looking forward to that, of course. They're doing a remaster of Until Dawn for the PS5.
Okay.
Great. Sky Dance's Behemoth looked pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's for PSVR, so not a lot of people are going to be chewing on that one. Path of Exile 2, they showed off some more gameplay of Path of Exile 2.
Oh my.
Looks fantastic. Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, while that doesn't do anything for me, I'm not huge into the Monster Hunter franchise. I know that there are a lot of people that are very into the Monster Hunter franchise, and Wilds does seem like a pretty big step in
A good update.
a good direction.
Nice.
So, while it was mostly a cinematic trailer, they did have some gameplay in the trailer. It looks super solid. For the Monster Hunter fans, I think this really whet some people's appetites as far as like what's to come. So that's great. Look forward to that. Silent Hill 2 is getting a remake. Alien Rogue Incursion is essentially Alien Isolation, but in VR.
Okay.
So that's terrifying.
my God. I was going to say, dude, man, that's got to pucker some butts.
Now, Isolation did come to VR. This is different than Isolation. You don't. I'm pretty sure you don't play the same character. It's a different character, a different environment, but same basic premise. You are kind of hiding from an alien. We've got Marvel Rivals, which is another Overwatch clone, unfortunately. So we've got 2 Overwatch clones and 2 remakes in the holsters, and then we get a reboot.
A reboot.
Dynasty Warrior Origins.
Oh my.
So they're bringing back Dynasty Warrior, which
That's
is
kind of cool.
pretty neat. I did like Dynasty Warrior games. They got
I
a
think I
little.
played Dynasty Warrior 3. I think I remember playing that.
They started to get a little heady, I would say. But I've always enjoyed the gameplay of Dynasty Warriors. So
Honestly, with
a reboot
uh,
isn't the worst thing in my book.
with Ghosts of
Tsushima.
on like that style, I feel like that'd be it's the time's right.
Yeah, and
update it.
that's another trend we'll see. So that's Dynasty Warriors Origins. The next one is Ballad of Antara, is a free-to-play fantasy action RPG. Again, didn't knock my socks off. Infinity Nikki is a new IP, and it's an open-world dress-up adventure game,
Okay.
also with RPG elements. And photography being kind of a linchpin of the new IP. So that's neat. It's not my game. It's a very cutesy, Genshin-looking action RPG dress-up game.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, but neat for that crowd. Where Winds Meet is an epic action-adventure set in ancient China. So we kind of have that... we have the Asian flavor because I mean it's different. It's not Japanese. It is ancient China.
Honestly, give me something set in a Chinese myth that feels like a God of War kind of style combat. Like that could be really fun. There's some really good rich storytelling opportunities
yes,
there.
definitely. And this does seem to do that. So it is a third person kind of over the shoulder combat focused open world action RPG.
Marvel Rivals is being developed and published by NetEase.
Yes, it sure is. Yes, it sure
boy.
is.
Bum bum ba bum.
Now, Concord took up like the first 10, 11 minutes of a 34-minute show.
So it's like a full quarter.
Oh yeah, no, they show. So we watched the 8 minutes of between the cinematic trailer and the gameplay trailer. We watched those 8 minutes. There was another like 3 to 5 minutes of dev interviews right afterwards. So that was like definitely the tentpole. If I were to say there were a second tentpole, it would be Astrobot. So there was Astrobot's Playroom on the PlayStation 5. It comes free with the PlayStation 5. And really, at the end of the day, it is essentially a tech demo to show off what the PS5 can do, especially with the controller. But Astrobot's getting his own game. It actually, honestly, looks like a really solid third-person puzzle platformer in 3D, and it looks solid to me.
That's cool. You say he's getting his own game. Who's Astrobot?
Astrobot is kind of I had just described it. Astrobot was the main character of the PlayStation 5's controller demo.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a solid little game. It was, a few hours worth of gameplay there. Lots of levels to unlock and collectibles. So it was essentially what the new Astro Bots game is going to be light. This is just it's more Astro Bot.
Honestly, I feel like if that leans into Fall Guy territory a little bit, that could be really fun for like that's sad.
Yeah.
But like a multiplayer kind of aspect where you get 2 or 3 of your friends zipping around on one of those levels trying to race to the end. I feel like that would be kind of fun.
This is Mario. This is a 3D Mario game featuring Astro Bot instead of Mario.
That's okay too. That's also still pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks super solid. I have like no complaints about what I saw of the gameplay. It looks fine. And if it carries over the same control scheme that they had in the demo and the playroom, then great. I think that could be a really fun, like that's unadulterated Nintendo style fun. Mm-hmm. It's solid. So I don't have any complaints with that. It's just nothing. There was nothing that wowed me in this show at all. Like when the biggest announcement for me is that God of War is coming to the PC is like the biggest announcement of the show. It's like, okay, well,
that's a pretty big announcement.
Sure, but I mean, it's not a new game, man. It's just not a new game, and
it is for me.
Yeah. Now that does lean into what I will talk about later, but for now, Nick has updates.
Updates.
Welcome back, miners. I can't do the voice. I'd like to though. Deep Rock Galactic is coming out with season 5. They're still chugging away, being awesome devs. Rogue Core is still in development, their next game. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of that in the next coming year. But season 5 is here, and they got a lot of changes that I'm really excited and happy about. Last 2 seasons had some major mechanical changes with the types of enemies and missions you did, and they were hit and miss. I liked some of them, but there's some really frustrating things. This new one is getting back to the basics, as they say, with a new mission type involving digging. You're a dwarf. As you go around these new caves, of which there's dozens of new cave varieties, you find these crystals that when you call in a machine and link it up, the crystals eventually triangulate to a Morkite gem agate cluster deep underground that you have to use a drill elevator to get to. You have to defend the drill elevator and repair it as it drills down deep into the heart of Hoxie's so that you can bust into this geode and collect all the gems before finally equipping a new pair of jetty boots and launching yourself out and away. Seems simple, right? Clearly. We'll see. To make that more complicated, there's also a new type of gemstone called a core stone that upon finding it and digging it out, it summons one of the new terrifying enemies that straight up looks like some kind of weird fractal zombie. This is not a bug like the other ones you've been fighting. These are really heavily armored, fast, little zombie, monkey, gorilla-looking things that look a lot tougher than the normal enemies. So that's kind of a cool little side mission thing they've thrown in there. On top of that, they have a new enemy that goes invisible. Called a stalker. You have to listen out for it and alert everyone that you hear one. You can see it there vaguely on the screen. If it gets a jump on you, it will take out your shields even from full.
Dang old predator.
A dang old predator up in these caves. It can run away by burrowing to the ground, meaning it's going to be a very annoying enemy, just like the enemies that burrow on the ground now. Exciting. On top of that, some of the static monsters have evolved. We have a new tentacle-based turret enemy that has multiple turrets, hard points you have to kill. Otherwise, it can like tentacle around and go to different parts of the map, as far as I saw. And an upgrade to the spitter that is a new glob attack that you have to time and dodge its AoEs. So lots of new enemies that fit the feel of Hoxie's. On top of that, a really cool change that I'm excited about is that you can now choose any season of Deep Rock from the very first through the first 5, and set your game to that season, meaning that anyone who joins your game can play through with those season's missions, with that season's stylings, but more importantly, the quote-unquote battle pass that was a part of that season, which has always been free, is something you can just choose to work on now. If there was a cosmetic or something you wanted from one season and you really like the mission types, you can just choose it and play it whenever. On top of that, for us veterans, they now have the option of Hazard 5+. If you so wish, you can increase the damage, the speed, the quantity, and other lethality variations of the enemies to essentially play Hazard 6, Hazard 7 natively without mods. So lots of room for new fun stuff to do and some new challenges for us graybeards who got too used to Hazard 5. On top of this, just like they do with every season, every new gun has a new overclock, including some really cool looking ones. There's a new skin, new beards, new color palettes, new weapon skins, all free to unlock you get just by playing. On top of a whole bunch of fixes, they added DLSS support, lots of new stuff, and it's all free. If you own the game, you can play it. You get everything I said without a single extra dollar. You can, of course, they release their per season paid armor skin DLC just to support the developers. Seasons are really cool. It's like Techno Knights. They'll show up coming in a second. But yeah, some sci-fi futuristic plate mail looking dwarves, which is right up my alley. So I'm very excited. I do believe this hits June 13th. Somewhere around there, June 12th. Yeah, that's where the new overclocks. A pump action shotgun. Look at that fire. He's got like a fire wave gun now, which is really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. 3-round burst, GK1 deep core. I forget what that one does. The sniper now you can tag enemies and it makes them vulnerable to damage. So you can make the M1000 into a support role. Now you leave ice trails behind with a cryo cannon. Right. Very, very cool.
Dope.
Yeah. A whole bunch of new mutators as well. There's one where you're constantly losing life, but all enemies drop red sugar. So it's a race to the finish. That's kind of a cool mode.
That's super cool.
Yeah, a couple other ones I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah. It's been quite a while since, Helldivers came out, and I put this down because I had burnt out on season 4. But I will be happy to get back into it and try it out.
This seems like a pretty big refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, recently it's been hard to wrestle my jimmies seeing a game. God of War did it. This is also doing it. I'm that
And
the Drillivator?
Yeah.
The Drillivator? You don't know you need a combination of words sometimes until you hear it.
Yeah.
And
Somebody
then it just
says,
makes
what
sense.
if we put chainsaws in an elevator? Tell me more.
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting. So I will be playing that next week after that, somewhere around there.
Very cool.
I might be too.
Yeah.
I love Deep Rock, and I especially love their model, right? But yeah, I felt pretty burnt out on the. I think it was the second season that I jumped in on, and it's hard for me to come back to games that I burn out on. But with as many changes as Deep Rock has made in season 5, and especially since I haven't played in a couple seasons, that might be enough to bring me back.
You can twerk now too.
Oh, well, I'm definitely coming back. Well, I lied, Josh. I'm not going to go next. You are.
Oh, yes, I'm going to go. Last week, I talked about almost like a birthday gift for me. Disney Plus was releasing The Acolyte. So I watched both episodes yesterday, and I am happy to say
Bum, bum, bada, bum.
it is good news. It is good news. Honestly, if you're not already into Star Wars, like if you're thinking, hey, this takes place 100 years before Star Wars, maybe I should start with this. You're thinking incorrectly. Go watch other stuff first. I definitely feel like more for a Star Wars fan. Like you're going to pick up some stuff if you watch Clone Wars. You're picking up, again, stuff if you've delved into things like The Bad Batch, or if you know who
Kyle Katarn is.
that would help. Honestly, it would help if you knew who like Sidious's master and his master was. Like, if you know things like that, you're going to dig it. Or even if you're just medium versed in Star Wars lore and stuff, then this is the one for
Skirmish,
you.
if you will.
What's good? So right off the bat, the set work looks really fucking good. The costume, what people are wearing, that looks amazing. It looks like Jedi, but it's the cuts, the way it's done, the way the folds are, it definitely has like an older feel to it from a more civilized time.
Very cool.
The hand-to-hand combat choreography, the combat choreography in a Star Wars show is really good. It's crisp. I really liked it. I'm not going to try and pronounce that poor actor's name, but he's from Squid Games. The lead from Squid Games as Master Saul. He is bringing me some serious Qui-Gon level energy. Yep, not even going to try.
Lee. His name is Lee.
Lee, yeah, is bringing some Qui-Gon level energy. Like I was saying, he's a student of the living force. You got to know what that means. And if you know what that means, then you will enjoy the show. What could be better? The one of the main actress chicks, this is I feel like her first real big role, and how she delivers some of her dialogue kind of shows that. Now, that doesn't mean go on Twitter and be mean, fuckers. No. That means give her a chance. But she's doing okay. So some of the lines, they hit a little flat, but most of the time it was good. The action was good. There's not a crazy amount of lightsaber fuckery right off the beginning, which is okay. They established that you can be dangerous without a lightsaber and without a blaster, and that's kind of cool. I'd like to see more of that.
They gave her a Colt 45.
2 zigzags. That's all you need. So a very good introduction. It left me wanting more and being interested. Leslie Headland nailed it. She's excellent so far. It does not hit like your standard Star Wars. It's going quickly. Follow along. It's happen. Things are happening fast, and it's good. It's good. I like most of the characters so far. There's a stick up his butt Boy Scout type that kind of bugs me, but that's an archetype. That's a character archetype right there, and he's doing his job well. I feel like if you're already a little versed in Star Wars, go give this a watch. It's worth giving it a chance.
Right on.
Yeah.
Good to
Sounds
hear.
good. How many episodes are out?
Two, and they release every Tuesday at 6 or 9
And those are, of course, on Disney Plus.
on Disney Plus. Yep.
Right on. Sounds good, man. I have some catching up on Star Wars to do. I have to watch Andor first.
Oh, yeah. Andor's not just good Star Wars. It's good
Just
TV.
good TV, yeah.
The guy who does the cuts where he put the Breaking Bad guy with Thanos snorting thing, he needs to put Nandor into Andor.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great idea. All right. Well, I got just another couple sprinkles to talk about.
Sprinkles.
So, light gaming news this week, as we said, and that is because it's all coming this weekend. If you are watching this
Stick.
or listening to this on Friday morning, just know that you have so much gaming content coming this weekend. So it starts with Summer Game Fest. Jeff Keighley will again be blessing us with, all his video games. So that's going to be Friday, June 7th at 2 p.m. or Pacific and 5 p.m. Eastern. Right after that, at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, is going to be Day of the Devs. Right after that, at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern, is going to be Devolver Digital's annual showcase. It's Volvy's 15th birthday party, which is apparently their mascot. So that should be great. Then there is Saturday, 8 a.m. 11 or sorry Pacific and 11 Eastern is going to be Future of Play Direct.
Ooh.
Then at 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern is going to be Wholesome Direct. Then at 10 a.m., I'm just going to do Pacific times right now, is going to be Latin American Games Showcase.
Oh, okay. Hot darn.
An hour and a half after that is going to be a continuation of Summer Game Fest it's going to be the women-led studios.
Okay. All right.
What's this website you're at?
This is summergamefest.com. If you go to
Gotcha.
events, you can definitely check that out. June 8th at noon, that's still Saturday, by the way, the Future Summer Showcase of PC and console games, the Future Games Show Summer Showcase happens. Then on Sunday,
Dang.
I know, dude, not even really that close to done. Then on Sunday is going to be the Xbox Game Showcase, which I will talk a little bit more about here shortly. That's going to be 10 a.m. on Sunday. Then there is the PC Gamer PC Gaming Show. Their 10th anniversary is being celebrated, and they're going to be showing more games. That's going to be at 1 o'clock Pacific. And then Ubisoft Forward will be on June 10th at noon Pacific. Some interesting things. There haven't been a whole lot of leaks, except for one kind of big one. Now, before I get there, I do want to say the ROG Ally X came out. That's Asus, formerly known as the ROG
Rogalix.
Now it's the Rogalix.
You know what you want to say.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah, totally. It's got more RAM.
More RAM. Did they download it?
Probably it's Asus. You know, they're not putting hardware in that thing. But it does come with more RAM. It comes with a much larger battery, like an additional 50%. So they're saying that, like, with of course, these are the company giving you figures. So when they say 8 hours, it means 6 hours, but that's double what you got with the original ROG Ally. Not only that, but they have a 1 terabyte SKU, whereas previously it was always 512 gigs. So they've upped the storage, they've upped the RAM. Nothing else has really changed. It's $800. I think that's a solid buy, especially if they've managed to iron out the issues they had with the first one.
Is it the same price as the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they've had price reductions down to $700 for the ROG
Sure,
Ally.
sure.
Yeah.
For the first, that makes sense, but it's at the same starting price. If you
Same
had-
starting price.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
That
it's
tells
bad.
me the first one sold well enough that they can make a
Yeah.
better model. They can afford to risk some
Yeah,
eggs in
definitely.
baskets.
it seems there may be another competitor entering the handheld market, and it looks like it may be announced as early as Sunday, June 9th.
Yeah, I
So
never thought Chick-fil-A would come out with a handheld.
They already that's all they make, baby.
Got me there.
this one probably won't have sauce on it, but it is the Xbox handheld.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds fake. Pixar didn't happen.
So it looks like it isn't just an Xbox handheld, but it also has a dock. Now,
A what?
a dock.
Okay.
Much
They're calling
like
it the X-Dock.
much like the Switch does.
Okay.
So this
Does it
does
dock
look
with
like
the Switch?
Shut the fuck up. This does look like it is going to be like a Switch like, and I think this is a solid idea. I don't think this is going to be their next console, right? I think this is a substitutional console. But it does look like it's going to be kind of Game Pass on the go, like a tailor-made by Xbox Game Pass machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think if the price is right, they could be decent sellers. Now, I'll be interested to see what kind of hardware they're using, because Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, there's a reason they're priced at, $600, $700, $800 respectively, right? It's because the hardware in them is actually pretty fucking robust hardware. Like it's like better than entry level gaming laptop hardware that they're cramming into these things. Especially after finding out that Microsoft has been working on their own, with Qualcomm, their own Snapdragon chip, which is being featured in their new AI super laptops, right? It'll be interesting to see whether these are actually going to be like x86 AMD based, or if they're going to be like not. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, especially considering that there are a lot of first-party titles now on Game Pass. It's possible that they've been working on optimizations for this. We have no idea yet, but I think there's a lot of opportunity here. Now it's not unlike Microsoft to throw away opportunity or anything like that. So who knows? We'll know when it pops out. But I think there's a lot of opportunity here. So I think that's exciting news, and it just goes to show that it looks like the handheld market is kind of here for the time being.
Exciting.
Yeah. So more hardware on the rise, and more money, more reasons to throw money at stuff. So. Anyways, I think that's just about it. We got lots of gaming news that's going to be coming in the next few days. I plan on streaming.
Is going to be big.
Oh, yeah. I will be streaming over the weekend. You guys are welcome to join me if you have any time. But we're going to have gaming news like out the ass for the next couple weeks. So, yeah, so plenty of news on the horizon. But, gentlemen, it is late. I'm ready. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do this.